Ain't nobody hear you. Nobody, no, not a thing. Not a thing. It's weird how we have the test connection. Everything works fine on test connection, and then nobody can hear you when the lights turn on. No, can't hear you. What's up, Keith? Welcome, y'all. So what's so funny is that Chaz's audio was totally working before. No one can hear you. I can't hear you either. So Chaz's microphone was totally working right when we tested everything. We were like, yo, let's go to show. And then right when we went to show, like nothing. It just not a thing. I don't know if you need to plug your stuff back in. I don't know what you need to do. No, nothing. This is awesome. Technical difficulties right off the jump. This is going to be a great show.
Can you hear me now? Okay, all right. Now that we have that situated and everything, I need you to redo all of this. I need you to go play the wonderful Christina, play her back, and we're going to do this again. Okay? We're going to do this all over again. That's crazy.
We'll do this.
Okay, cool. Cool. Sorry, folks. Sorry. We're going to do that again. That was terrible.
Yeah. And then we're going to do this.
This is Courageous Christina Marie, and you're watching 3 Count Podcast.
Hit him with a 3 count. Pin him to the ground and the crowd go wild, man down, know what y'all like. Hit him with a 3 count. On the top rope, crowd already know how to fly.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy, your cousin, your nephew. It's the Don, Chaz Evans, 1/3 of the greatest team alive. All right. Here with the 3 Count Podcast debate show. Let me introduce to you the guy that is going. Let's look this way. The guy that's going one-on-one with me today in this debate show. All right. He is your friendly neighborhood mercenary. Listen, he's the Red Dawg, okay? Listen, he's the Red Dawg. There's nothing more that needs to be said, all right? He is the Red Dawg, and if you didn't know, now you know, player.
Yeah. He's the Air Force veteran intel specialist, the one you call on when you need to get the job done, and your friendly neighborhood Red Dawg, and that's right. So it was so nice we had to do it twice. Christina Marie, thank you so much for letting us know what channel everybody is tuning into right now.
Listen, that's crazy how it did. So I'm gonna, speak on the elephant in the room. So, listen, the thing was it wasn't all the way. Oh, what? Everything just froze. What in the world?
I don't know. I'm good. I'm hearing everything you're saying.
you can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. It's okay. So everything. All right. Now you're not frozen. I don't know what's going on with my equipment today, folks. Yeah, my screen, everything froze. And the time stopped. But okay. So anyway, what was wrong with the audio at first instead of my screen? The cord wasn't plugged all the way in the headphone jack. So yeah, something dumb like that, of course. But so yeah, welcome to the debate show. Sorry I missed y'all last week, but duty calls with the family. It was my anniversary. So, but the show was awesome last week, right? Cliff, I think the show went well. I didn't watch it. Not gonna lie to you, I didn't watch it.
Yo, it's funny because last 2 weeks, I've been on. I was on last week, and then the week before that, you were on.
And that's true. That's true. Yes, but that's different. You listen but you listened to the show though. I didn't listen to your show.
I wasn't paying attention. Yo, shout outs to Mike Caldwell again for coming on our show last weekend.
Definitely shout out to him. Yeah. Let's go through some announcements. First off, though, gotta give this huge shout out, big props. So our intro, right, that little bomb song that we got, right? Phil McNair, right, the artist, just dropped an EP with his brother called LED. So you can get that on all of those streaming platforms that you kids listen to music nowadays, because no one buys CDs or vinyls or 8-track, cassette tape.
Hey, don't know. I think the vinyl, definitely vinyl.
I can. So yes, I can't say that about vinyl because I do have I'm starting a vinyl collection. I have a record player, but I'm an old head at heart, so I don't count. I
Nice.
don't count. But yeah, so definitely if you like our theme song, they got a dope track. I listened to it this morning. It's actually kind of fire, and I'm not just saying that because they're my homies. Like it's really good. Like I'd be honest if their crap sucked, but it was actually fire. So definitely go give them a listen on all of those social media on all streaming platforms. Follow them on social media too. I think it's PemJam. I think it's at PEMJAM. This is a terrible plug for them. But here's a not so terrible plug. Buy a shirt. Pro Wrestling Tees. All right, /3 count pod. Don't you dare type in that number 3. Okay. Go buy a shirt. It helps support the podcast. Keith, I'm glad someone's still buying CDs. That makes me happy. That makes me happy that the CDs are still being bought.
Yeah.
Because it pains me that we go into Walmart and there's just a bunch of CDs. I'm like, no one's buying this. Everyone's car has a Bluetooth.
Everybody does have Bluetooth.
But gotta be cool. So buy a shirt. We can get you CDs. Keith. We can get Keith CDs so he can have the 3 count podcast if everybody buys like 4 shirts. So
of course, this is what we always work with. Hi, Damien.
Damien! Why aren't you on the show?
Is he even off today? That's always a big question.
That's always. I talked to him earlier, but then again, he could be aware. He could be working, knowing him. No, he's not. Guess what? I know he's not. Yes, I know he's not working. So he should be on the show. But anyway, buy a shirt. Follow us on all of your social media platforms at 3 count pod. Everything except for Twitter. Twitter is the only thing that's different. That's an underscore. So 3 count _ pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, everything. We are 3 count pods. Make sure you follow us there. Cliff, let them know what's going down on the other studio is now entering the ring.
Of course. So I don't know if you guys noticed kind of the way the pattern changed. So obviously we have the live show on today. Tomorrow you will get the replay. So if you guys want to check us out live, come check us out on Sundays. And if you're not, then come check out the show on Monday. But more importantly, let's talk about who's entering the ring, right? So first off, let's talk about Tuesday. You guys are going to get Tyler Hastings. He's going to be joining us on the show for Now Entering the Ring. And then we have a special episode of Now Entering 201. If you guys didn't pay attention to it last week, it was Alex Aceta from Invictus joined us on the show. This week is going to be Mike Caldwell. Hi, Mike. We know you're in the comment section right now. But Mike will be joining us for Now Entering 201. And then on Thursday, Rick Elzy of BCW, Oklahoma, is going to be joining us as well. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And then we have many more episodes coming out for you guys. And then we have a lot of episodes that we have to do recording stuff for us as well. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of things coming up for you guys. We're definitely excited. And we're actually crawling up on 300 episodes for Now Entering the Ring.
Listen, I'm like really excited for that. Like 300 episodes. It's just crazy to think like from the beginning of how, when the pandemic started, we were like, what if wrestling, stops and we need content? And now look at it. So there's never not content coming out of the 3 count podcast. We have so much content that we should be signed on like somebody's big network doing this. It
is funny because we talk about
call us ESPN.
We talk about this a lot, like just the episodes and stuff that are all coming out, and it is kind of amazing to think that we're like getting up to this point where it's like 300 episodes is like in our rearview mirror or like in our sight, right? Where like when we first started this show, I don't think we had any kind of real plan for like how many episodes we were going to do. I think the first time that you and I talked about this, like we were joking and we said, we should get like, I think we had like 70 episodes thought, right?
Yeah.
And like, then I think like October, we had hit like 90 episodes. And I was like, we went way too far with this. And then like, then we decided we're like, for a whole nother year, we're like, let's just crank down, see what we can put out. And then like, this last January when we hit 200 episodes and we had Chris Van Vliet on, like that was crazy. It was never a thought process in my mind that, Chris Van Vliet will be on And oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Rick Elsey. Yes, SCP, Squared Circle Pro, in Lubbock, Texas. My bad. I forgot that. Thank you, Mike, for that. But yeah, it was just crazy to think that here we are going to 300 episodes, and it's like we now have like this who's list of people that we want to bring on, and all these little like ways that we can get people to come on the show. So it's definitely been exciting this last year to be like closing in.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's the goal was always, all right, let's get press tickets to WrestleMania. So I guess once we get press tickets, maybe that'll be the end of it. Maybe, I guess.
No,
Nah, I don't think so
No.
either.
definitely not, because I know for me especially, like I said, the pinnacle for me, and I've said this numerous times on the podcast and on Now Into the Ring, is that I want to get Sting, Rey Mysterio, and Chris Jericho. Like that's the pinnacle to me, right? Like that's the top of the top. And when I brought it up, in that 200th episode, and I said something about it, Chris like immediately was like, "Oh, that's cool. Now you got to find new goals." I was like, "Yo, who would be the next pinnacle after that?" And I was like, "Damn." So like I've been thinking about it, and I was like, "Yo, who else would I want to like consider like to be in that top 3?" And I was like, "Yo," I was like, I could definitely find a way. If I could find a way to get FTR on the show, that like there's like the start of like the next 3 pinnacles. Like,
yeah, no, I got you.
I want to do like, like, and I don't know, someone else I was thinking about, Nick Wayne, like, because signed with GCW, just signed with AEW, you know what I mean? Like, starting to make his way up and through the marks. And we're like, yo, there's so many good names right now. And of course, like, they're always going to change, right? AJ Styles is another person that we've talked about numerous times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been crazy to think about. I know another person I'd love to have on the show, Chris Hero.
Like, that's a good one.
Mean?
You want to know who I like? You want to know who I would like to see you interview?
Sean Spears?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Like, no. So what the person who I think I would love to see you interview, Vince McMahon.
What do you that would be?
I'd like to see you interview Vince.
He's got a lot of time on his hand now.
Listen, I'm down to see who's the first person to get Vince on the podcast. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spoil for anybody out there, but I've heard that he's bought some property in Baltimore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, we never talked about that. We never talked about that on the phone. Yeah.
Wow, way to drop.
I just realized that we never talked about that.
Oh, wow. You have tea and didn't spill it?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, we'll talk about that off there.
Just right there on the 3 count. Like, you get the super,
Wow. All right.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Breaking news. Dirt sheets. Hey, maybe they'll bring traffic to this episode.
Yeah, someone's gonna be like, "Hey, yo, didn't you hear that on their show?" Like,
yeah, so I'm like, what? So yeah, nah, that's the clip. That's the clip for tomorrow. For tomorrow, get some traction on the pod. Wait a minute. I see 3 boxes. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, making his return.
What's good?
All right, it's the super villain, the Dark Lord himself.
What's good?
Damien Fatal, welcome back to the pod. I haven't seen 3 squares on this show in a long time. Now I'm gonna cry.
Look, work.
No, I feel you.
Real life. Y'all caught me on a vacation because just got finished camping in the mountains. So
nice.
Well, I'm looking like a mountain man right now.
Right. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I was like, the shadows are scared of Damien. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
No, they are. Oh, they are. They are. They know.
Why does it look like you cut your hair? Because I ain't seen you in forever, man.
Oh yeah, the hair's
because
he
did. Because he did.
Oh,
because he did.
It's a new look.
Now you guys get the catch-up session.
Yeah, I'm changing shit up. It's time. It's time for a change.
I understand. I was like, dang, my man.
New things.
It up.
You know, gotta change things up a little bit.
Well,
Okay.
now that Damien's here, let's get on to the debate. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Let's debate.
And I feel like this is the perfect topic for Damien to be on. Now, mind you, normally, guys, we have a 3-count chat. Even though it's been like the past couple of weeks and I know past couple of months, it's been me and Cliff for this year. But I still send in the topics. But now this me and Cliff, we're just sending each other. So Damien doesn't know what we're about to talk about. And I talked to Damien earlier today too. And I didn't. We talked about everything but the podcast. So look, we're gonna talk about Damien's favorite straight edge Russ superstar.
This nigga.
This is going to be great. Well,
All right.
So, all right, here we go. Today's topic, where we've came up on a year of the return of CM Punk. Now, looking back from a year ago today, how would you rate CM Punk's return? Okay. Oh, Damien's face says it all. So we'll wait for Damien. Let him ponder his thoughts. Cliff, what you got for me? You can go first. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
So listen, like there was all this hype about this man coming into AEW. Let's not play, right? It was the best. What do they call it? The best unkept secret of like wrestling, right? Because everybody knew what was going on. And then he came in, he wrestled a bunch of matches, like he was helping get over like all this young talent, right? He was working with everybody, it seemed, and it was cool. And then like it just kind of obviously got driven more towards being focused on the title, right? And then we had this big match between Hangman and Punk. I think, and then obviously he got hurt, and then he was gone, right? I think that he's been able to put more butts in the seats. Like I really think so, right? I mean, we've talked about some other stuff that happened with another show, and I'll let you get to that, right? But it's been crazy to look back and be like, man, I don't know if I feel like Punk has been a part of the needle moving. I don't think he's the biggest part, but I think he was definitely one of the biggest pushes to get the needle moving in the right direction. So I think his return was it's been kind of a success. But then obviously like injury happened. He broke his foot and things just came to a slamming halt. And I think when he made his return at Quake by the Lake, that was a big talking point because then obviously the next week he came back for House of Dragons. And like then it was all about it, right? That all of a sudden the big bomb came down and he was ready to go. And then, as far as like the alleged behavior behind the scenes, I can't really talk about that because I don't really know. But I can tell you from what I see, the fans are happy. And if the fans are happy to see CM Punk and they're cheering him and stuff, then cool. So, I think he's definitely done his part.
All right. So I'm going to say it's a flop. I think CM Punk's return the year has been a flop. And I say this because, number one, the ratings, if we look back, the ratings aren't that much of a difference on when before he was there, before the return, and now. They're still, 900,000, maybe on those big shows, like their special shows, they'll hit the million. Like I think last week they averaged the million mark. But you had, it was a big show. CM Punk he's had these matches. He's been getting some of the talent over, but after the MJF story, right? I think like you said, when they focused more on that title, that was the worst thing for CM Punk. We got a shortened Hangman Page run, which we were building from day one of this company. Hangman was supposed to have a long run. I don't care which way, how you spin it. Hangman Page's first AEW title run should have been a lengthy run. He should have gotten a run like a Moxley, like a Chris Jericho, like what they're about to do with Punk. So it got cut real short because it's CM Punk. And I don't think CM Punk is the needle mover. To be completely honest, if anything, Bryan Danielson is the needle mover, and he's putting the talent over. think about what he's done for Daniel Garcia in the past month, and that was taking what he died like legit like in the sense like he passed out, and Daniel Garcia like he got them chanting "You're a wrestler." They were chanting "You're a wrestler," which was glorious. Sometimes the fans of AEW chant great things. Sometimes it's it, but like yeah, man, like nah, I think it's a flop. And then now there's rumors about him not being happy in this and the going into business for himself last week with the shots at Hangman. Like it's CM Punk doing what? CM Punk shit. It's not. I think if CM Punk doesn't come back, and maybe we still have everything goes the way it goes. Like CM Punk doesn't come back, we still have Bryan Danielson, we still have the Blackpool Combat Club, everything. I just don't think we have a difference in what we were watching the week before. I mean, the year before. Like it's just the needle mover isn't CM Punk itself. It is, and if you really look at it, it's CM Punk returns. It's not CM Punk. CM Punk returns because look, after he came back, right? That was Rampage. That was the first show. It was the highest rated show, right? Dynamite last week, highest rated since what? The return of CM Punk. And why? Just because it was just to hear the fallout of what he did on Dynamite. Like it's not necessarily Punk. It's just the fact CM Punk returns. There's no difference. And like I feel like Kenny from a year from now will be better than Punk at this point. I low-key felt goosebumps seeing Kenny. Shoot. And I hate Kenny. But I'd rather see Twinkle Toes than see CM Punk at this point. He came back. I didn't go all, I was like, oh, this was quick. I was enjoying not seeing him. I'm over it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm over it. All right, Damien. Lay it on us.
Need to drink of water real quick.
Same.
I was like, because we split right now. You gotta be the tiebreaker.
All right, so like I feel kind of two ways about this, because eventually I have gotten over my hatred for the man. And I was excited for him in the beginning for him to come back to do something that he loves, right? Mm-hmm. However, like you said, Chaz, it's a bit lackluster. It seems like it's off, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, he's putting on some good matches, but it's like almost like I guess what he's doing is like there's like no long term. When it first started, it was just like him having matches, him going into small beast for like a week or two, and then move on. Which, in my opinion, that was the build to him becoming champion. I think that right there was like it was BS of him saying he's coming out there to, wrestle people, put people over, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. But I really think it was just because he wanted the championship. Mm-hmm. He wanted to be at the top of the card. He wants to be the end all be all.
Like he wanted to be
CM Punk shit.
That's like, and the crazy thing about it is like we've seen this before.
Exactly.
Like legitimately.
from like literally, like we've seen it before. So like I said, it's been kind of disappointing as far as him, like I guess moving the needle. Yes, he has actually. Because again, they haven't been using Daniel the way they should have been using him. There's like a lot of people not being used to their fullest potential.
Oh yeah.
Because CM Punk is there. Like you said, it was good not having him on the show for a couple of months because you got to see other people do other shit.
Yeah. Then again, I'll never say anything about Mox with doing his little strut and the belt. Like I just think I always thought the mock strut through the crowd with the belt was a good look. So
maybe
like I'm a mark for Moxley.
And then it's hilarious that they're making that title match on a Dynamite.
So I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're just gonna beat the tar out of each other before it even gets down. Tony,
and that's probably what's gonna happen. But then again,
that's bad business. That's bad business.
But then again, I don't want to see it at All Out either.
So
especially the way that they're doing it. So the way that they're doing it, you're probably right. It's going to end up in the brawl. The match is going to not happen. Why do that? And I know what it is. It's to get eyes on the product.
Yeah.
That literally that's what it is.
So main event.
It's going to get disappointed. People are going to not be happy about it. And I bet you money the match is going to be garbage. I don't see their styles meshing well. Like seriously.
Yeah, Mox WWE. I mean, Dean Ambrose definitely wrestled differently than.
Oh yeah, like way different than he does now.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a clash of styles.
Well, then again, look at it like
the thing is, I don't want to see CM Punk do a Moxley match. If I'm going to be honest with you, Punk needs to make Moxley do a Punk match if it's going to be successful.
I was just about to say, because we were saying that about the match with Darby. We were all I remember we all were up in arms when it was the Darby match. We were like styles of clashes, but he he made Darby wrestle I don't want to use WWE style. I don't want to use a Punk match.
No,
but it wasn't your fast paced indie AEW style match. I'll say that
exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
And people were calling that the match of the year last year.
but it was a good match though.
It was fire, no doubt.
You got to see a different side of Darby though.
Yeah, and that match is also written with nostalgia of Punk's return match. So there's also that too. Like that.
I think that's what it is for me, right? Is that I think so. I want to kind of touch on a point that you had brought up, right, about CM Punk, right, coming back. And I think initially, right, very initially, Punk was like, I want to work with a bunch of the stars and help get them over. And I think over time, and I think it really kind of started after the Kingston feud, like, I think it was about, hey, all right, now it's time to go chase this title down. And it became all about the title picture. Like, no real set plan. It just became about the title picture. Because if you notice, like, there's that, they legit started a massive bloodbath feud over just a section, right? It was just, they just crossed paths, that's it. And, like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had this bomb-ass, like, match that we didn't expect to get, that we were all hyped about. And then it was like, MJF. Oh, I beat the top heel, bet. Onto Hangman. And, like, that was it. Like, when we look at the card of, like, AEW, we're like, yo, but there's, like, so many other names in here that you should be working.
Yeah.
But,
like,
we saw MJF, and then it went to Hangman. And I think, like I said, initially, I think it was, hey, let me work these younger guys and let me, like, work with them to help get them over, but then also understand, like, how my footing needs to get back in place. And then it was, all right, I'm good. Let me jump right up to this challenge of MJF and then go into a whole thing with Hangman. And now it's like, well, I'm done with Hangman per se, and I'm gonna jump over to Mox, right? Because we from what was rumored to come out of backstage, the promo that CM Punk started with this last week was a receipt, quote unquote, on Hangman for something that he said in a promo right before their match.
Wow.
So it's like it's weird with Punk because like he definitely got people to tune in to Rampage on a rumor that he was going to be there, and then like when AEW makes the announcement that CM Punk is going to be on the show, that's when AEW has their higher ratings. So it's tough for me to say he's not he doesn't move a needle and he doesn't. It's been a flop because people tune in to see what CM Punk is going to say. And Chaz, we had this conversation on the phone. He, and I had to go back and rewatch the promo with him and Mox, and he got the better of Mox.
Yeah, yes, that's factual.
So it goes back to everybody wants to tune in to hear what CM Punk's got to say because, when that man has a microphone in his hand, it's a pipe bomb.
Don't get me wrong, he can talk his ass off.
Yeah, like we're not
He's
like
one of the best out there when it comes to speaking. I cannot take that from him. However, Phil Brooks is on that Phil Brooks shit. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like Phil's being Phil, regardless of the rumors. We already know that he's very outspoken about what the fuck he does.
Yeah.
So like, it was a matter of time before he's gonna start butting heads, right?
That's true. And
like he's super protective of himself, and I get it. But
so, all right, here's this. All right, Cliff. Is CM Punk right now Hulk Hogan in WCW?
No, I couldn't go that far.
You're not gonna go that far.
You know what? Let me do this.
You're not gonna go that far. All right, we'll bring this. All right, listen, Damon, you're my witness. We'll bring this back up next year. And that is the topic next year. So 2 years to CM Punk's return to the wrestling world. That is the topic every year.
He probably does have a Hogan contract. No,
I listen. I promise. I cannot sit here on my godly conscience and say that CM Punk don't have Tony Khan wrapped around his finger like Hogan had. Still to this day has Eric Bischoff around his finger.
I mean,
come on.
I mean, you make a valid point.
Let's not sit here, guys. Like,
I mean, come on. Who gets hurt is going to be gone for 3 months, but they're still the champion.
The interim champion thing from a jump, I think, is dumb.
Oh, that was a dick move.
I think it's dumb. They did it, even when they did it with the TNT title. I said, this is dumb.
Well, because like at the end of the day, what you're doing is saying, well, like you're not really the world champion, but we kind of had to have the belt on TV. So
yes, that's exactly that is what we're saying without saying. Like, yeah, listen, we're a wrestling show and we can't have our world title not on the show.
I think that's the other part that I really didn't agree with that either about the interim title, because it's like, listen, like I don't know how AEW does their thing, right? And this is why I say it like this. Because WWE, like, remember at one time it was if you didn't compete with that championship after 30 days, you lost.
Yeah, it was gone.
Yeah, it was gone. And WWE got away from that because look at Roman Reigns. Like, I mean, God forbid, like, you know, our tribal chief, when he shows up, he shows up. He's a needle mover when he shows up. But
well, I mean, he's the tribal chief. That's different. He's the tribal chief.
He doesn't defend. Brock Lesnar was the same way. The Beast. Yeah. He just go 90 days without showing up, and it shows up, and then like there's a match. He's still a champ. It's like, yo, like
it doesn't apply. No, that doesn't apply. Listen, we didn't like that. It was not okay for Brock to do it, but it's okay for our tribal chief to do it because he's our tribal chief.
It's different.
It's different.
It's not champions not defending their titles on pay-per-views, right? So when I look back and I see, you know, someone like Punk not defending the title after 30 days, like, yo, dude, like, you ain't supposed to have that. Remember, Moxley got stripped of the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship because he missed a flight because of bad weather in Japan. So why is this different? Like, what is AEW's rules about champions defending their titles? It's just like, hey man, when you win the title, when you show up, that's when you get to defend it. That doesn't make sense to me. Like,
championship advantage.
Yeah. Oh, you dropped the title because you got hurt. Bet. Well, that person has a championship, and you got to work your way back up to the top. Sorry, bro.
Right. Like,
you got some dirt.
If anything, CM Punk should lose. CM Punk should lose.
He ain't losing. He ain't losing. No, he got something. He got something on Tony Khan. How much you want to bet?
You know what? That's probably.
That's why Cody. Look, that's why Cody left.
Didn't you? You know what? That's a great question. I love it. Has anybody heard from Colt Cabana?
No. So no.
Shit.
No. That was it. I didn't want to. So.
Oh shit! You're right. Where the fuck have you been?
I know. I didn't want to bring that up because I have no.
Well, source. I'll be honest. I have heard of. I've heard from Colt Cabana. I have. He was on Young Rock. He was a Brooklyn Brawler.
Oh well, yes.
I think he's been filming for. Season 2 of Young Rock. Because he's like there working and doing backstage stuff, like helping with like the wrestling side of things.
Which basically means he got chased out of AEW by CM Punk. Let's call it. Like I said, Phil being Phil Brooks. I don't know.
That's what I mean. That is crazy thing. Yeah, that is.
That nigga show up and then that nigga disappear.
That's it. That's yeah.
I'm
Listen.
surprised he's in somebody's trunk right now.
I was just about to say that. Like, how we know he's not
Can we-
missing for real?
Can we also talk about another plot hole that is going on with AEW right now in the Dark Order? Remember how they lined all of the members of the Dark Order up, right? There's like 6 of them. And they're like, the 6 of us are staying. And Anna Jay went right over to JAS.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I thought that
And
was
then,
wild.
like, we have, like, I know
I
should be watching Dark and I should watch Elevate, right? But I haven't in a long time, right?
I watch when my friends.
I don't know
on.
if they're on there.
I
don't know
watch
if
when
Alex Reynolds and John Silver are on there.
I don't know
see
either.
them.
I just watch for my friends. Anytime I see my friends on there, that's when I watch. I'm not gonna
that's
front.
what I watch.
I'd
Well,
like.
the Dark Order's down to
Waves
3
of
members,
Pearls.
right?
I don't know. I don't like. I don't watch.
There's only 3 of them. Didn't like 2 of them leave or 3 of them left?
Alan Angels, he's in Impact now.
He's in Impact, yeah.
Stu left, right? Stu's contract ran out. Evil Uno's in charge of like the video game side of things, I think, if I remember reading that right. And then like you have 10 and you have Silver and Reynolds, and like that's it. Like where's the rest? Like where's those guys at? Oh, we lost the Dark Lord.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's been nuts that's been a thing that's happened.
I mean, I said you should. I always said the group was when Brody passed. I was like, the group should have been done. It was. It never had its shine after Brody passed. So I mean the thing with Hangman, it was like it had its couple week run and it was cool, but after that it was.
And I totally forgot that I mentioned that now, but then I totally just forgot that they're in the trios tournament.
They are.
Yeah, that's the reason why Hangman Page wasn't in. Remember, because he was like, they're going to be in the trios tournament, so I'm going to be in their corner. But best of luck to you guys on the other side. Talk about the Young Bucks and their mystery partner.
That's
which
Kenny. It wasn't.
You guys didn't watch it. It's Kenny.
It's Kenny Omega.
I did trip a lot of people up though, because what's funny is that I was on TikTok, right, and I saw Sledge's channel, right. So if you guys don't get to go check it out, Sledge 805 on TikTok. But he was like, yo, I put it up there. Who's this mystery partner? He's like, a lot of people said Kenny, and they were obviously right. He's like, but a lot of people say Marty Scurll as well. And I know that when we talked about it, I had brought it up to you about the possibility of Marty, and you were like, oh, I didn't even really think about Marty. And then so the question became like, does Marty Scurll belong back in a major wrestling promotion after everything came out about him?
No. I don't do.
We don't have to talk about that subject, but I just want you to know.
I thought that's where you were going. I thought we were.
No.
Okay. All right.
Because let's be real, like if you were called out like on the Me Too movement, like, hey man, like I hope you did what you did for the last year to clean up your image. That's really all I gotta say about that. Because I don't know if you know or not, but Joey Ryan was working at Disney.
Yeah, and they found out and they fired him.
They fired him because they were like, well, and and I know a lot of people in the wrestling business are gonna be like, well, how did they not know? Because Disney's not looking into that side of things. They were like, ayo, like there's a guy, he has a solid record, he's an actor, right? And he's done stunt work before. Let's bring him in. They didn't even go back and see what he did in the wrestling side. They didn't care.
No, that's factual.
Which that should be a thing that people should realize. Like, not everybody pays attention to the wrestling side of things. Like not everybody's in with us, right? When I say us, as far as like a wrestling community, they don't care, right? It's just like the same thing that happens with people who love like Marvel movies and DC movies. There's just a group of people out there who don't care about that conversation.
Yeah, that's me.
They're like, oh, you guys are fans of wrestling? Nerds. I'm like, you're a movie, you love Marvel? Nerd.
Right, nerd.
Facts.
You cried during the Lion King scene? So did I. Like,
I was about to say, yeah, like
I was a whole dick when I saw that.
Of course you were.
Well, there was a bunch of kids, and when that happened, all the kids are crying,
Marty got canceled.
and I'm
Marty
trying to
did get canceled.
suppress laughter. Look, Scar was that nigga, all right? I don't know what to tell you.
But it's like
they're making a movie for him. He's
that's
in
the
the movie.
point, though, is that like there's so many different communities out there that like to say like, and that I think that's where I was just kind of going with it, right? Is that like listen, I don't even know Joey Ryan's real name, right? And nor do I care. But if I saw him working at Disney as a wrestling fan, I'm not going to be like, hey, that's the guy that did all this crazy stuff as a wrestling character. I'm like,
that's the guy that said, touch my dick.
Yeah, I'm not going to be
no,
that.
I would totally call him out on that. Sorry. I don't like him. So.
No, I just think it's crazy that, like, because I think wrestling fan. Well, and the question was, and Damon, you can answer this too. Like, a bunch of wrestling fans went to Disneyland. They saw that he was working there, and then they're like, "Oh, how do you not know that Joey Ryan? That guy's Joey Ryan?" It was like easy. Nobody really pays attention to the internet or the wrestling world.
Oh no, they don't. So like, they ain't gonna know his like government name or really who the hell he is.
Right. I was like, there's still people out there who are probably tweeting out right now, really believing that Charlotte Flair's name is Charlotte Flair. Like, that's my point. Like, there are people out there who are like, yeah, Charlotte Flair. Oh, I'm gonna text her right now, like thinking that's really what her name is, right? People out there don't really believe. There's people out there who believe that Sasha Banks, that's her real name, like, because they don't care. Listen, they're not paying attention to the wrestling world. They're like, whatever, man. That's right. Like what Sasha Banks, I think. Like,
her name is Mercedes.
No one really
like the
knows
car.
Because and to be fair, it's because people like John Cena, right, or Dwayne Johnson, right, The Rock, right. People were like, oh, that's their wrestling name. Like, look at John Cena. That was his real name. Everybody else in the wrestling community, that's their name too.
Right.
Like, people out there like Claudio Castagnoli. That's his real name. John Moxley. That's his real name. Isn't that Dean Ambrose? They were lying to us the whole time. There's probably somebody out there who really believes that my name is Red Dawg. Like, look, you put it right there.
There's people that think my last name is really Fatal. So I mean,
yo, wait, it's not. It's
like
not.
They really do. No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
Just like what was it? For the longest time, a lot of people really believed that Kimbo Slice's name was Kimbo Slice. They didn't really believe that they didn't know that he was fighting under a different name. It was just, I don't know. It's just funny. And so that's why I hear people talk about like,
that's not his real name.
No, that's not his real name.
Wow.
You got to remember, a lot of people, especially like in just say entertainment in general, right? A lot of people do change their names because it sounds better and it's more fluid than like something off the fucking wall.
Oh,
where like that name comes across and you're like, who the fuck is that?
That's why I'm
like,
just like,
it's like an end credit name, like, you know, a stagehand.
Yeah, I'm gonna start announcing my name on wrestling shows as Clifford Smith. So when people like the generic last name. So that way people really believe, like, yeah. Do you know why his name is Red Dawg? Because his first name's Clifford, but it's Clifford Smith. That's really his name. Like, I just think it's weird, man, that like wrestling fans, like, we have like this expectation for like other people that, well, I know this. How come you don't? Well, because they don't pay attention to us. Like, can you tell me who won season 31 of, The Bachelor? Probably not. Like, nobody. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, it's just weird. It's just, to me, I'm just like, yo, like, there's all these little bubbles, and we just think that everybody should know everything that we know in this bubble, right? Like, new wrestling fans come in, and we're just like, we dismiss them. You don't know anything about wrestling. You can't hang with us. Like, what, bro? Teach them. Shut up. Like, sorry. Now I'm getting to this rant about the wrestling. Something I swore I wasn't going to get into today.
I was going to let you go, bro. I was going to let you go.
I was going to let him have it.
It's dumb. I think it's so dumb that we're in the wrestling community, right? We legitimately love wrestling, but we love wrestling so much that we gatekeep it. And we tell people, You can't be. We're legitimately the plastics. We're like, you can't hang with us because you don't know anything about this. It was like,
No, it's always been like that though.
Yeah, I know,
But
but
it's just
would you
because
shut
wrestling
up?
is so guarded though. That's why.
I just
If
hate
you
it when
really think about it,
like
that's what it
okay,
is.
so I just want to get something. What I really can't stand is when like fans are using words that are used by workers, right?
Oh yeah, that
I
bothers me.
cannot stand it because sometimes they just fuck it up. And they think they're like they got like this cool inside edge. They're like, yeah, check me out. Like I have this platform and I'm totally using the word kayfabe correctly, and this is what it means, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like, shut up. Nobody listen, if you left this world of wrestling and you went and started using words like that outside, they will look at you like you're fucking stupid.
Not facts.
Like,
I definitely when I say something's a work, people are like, "What?" I'm like,
yeah.
"I'm sorry, wrestling term."
Oh yeah. Because I think about Stone Cold, right, in his podcast, and when he was on the phone with 911 talking about how he had his loofah brush shoved up his ass, and he was telling the 911 operator, "This is not a work, this is shoot." And the 911 operator was like, "What's a shoot and who's kayfabe? Is that a real person? Can they help you out with this?" And he's like, "Who's firing shots?" Like, yo, do you know how dumb you sound? Quit trying to make it seem so smart in something that is not that hard to understand. Listen, man, it's a show. At the end of the day, it's a show. And if you try to make yourself seem like you're the most intelligent person in the world in wrestling, I'm sorry. That's equivalent to being the best rapper in the NBA. Nobody cares.
Wow. Okay. Way to talk about Damian Lillard like that.
Again, nobody cares. Kobe
Damn.
dropped an R&B album, the second greatest player ever to live. Nobody cares. Shaq, the greatest center in the entire world, dropped 2 LPs. Nobody cared, man.
You got a point there, man.
Yo.
Well, I mean, to piggyback off of your point, like you can thank a lot of, I guess, people that decided to, I guess, let fans in and thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like really what it comes down to. I ain't gonna name no names, but they might be like EVPs of a certain company that's on TV. But I mean, I ain't gonna put them out there like that. Just want to point that out. But
Okay, so BTE, right? Going behind the scenes and showing them travel and stuff like that, by all means,
That was the worst thing.
I think, and here's the thing. There was a segment for a long time on BTE, which was called the Wrestler's Word of the Week. And they were legitimately pulling back the curtain and showing like, hey, this is a word that we use. Kayfabe, right? Or a word, or a shoot, or, you know what I mean? Like, there was other words that they were using. I'm just like, bro, there's like, and I get it because there's so much information on the internet, right? I just think as a casual fan, or even as a longtime fan, bro, just enjoy the show. Quit trying to critique everything. Quit telling your friends, oh, that match was garbage because he missed this spot. Dude, who cares, right? Like, I'll pull the curtain back for this one. I was at training, right? One of the students goes, oh, well, I always find it crazy when someone does a drop down and a person trips and then they're like, well, they fucked up the match. No, that's the point of a drop down. Is to trick somebody.
Exactly.
If the person who knows that the drop down is happening gets tripped, guess who looks stupid? That
person
guy. Did the drop down. I was so mind blown by this. Like, yo, what? No, like, what are you doing? I was like, yo, like, well, they ruined the match. It's okay. Yes, it could be a dance, but it's that person's fault. Like, you know the dance step, so why did you trip on the dance step?
See, the thing is, though, when it comes to wrestling in general, right? Mistakes happening in the match, I feel like makes it a little bit more realistic. Makes it feel more of like a fucking fight because, like, I mean, Like normal fights ain't scripted, correct?
Right.
The whole point to go into this
That's such a great. So the comment is just for our audio listeners who are wondering what we're laughing about. It's legit. Mike put in a comment. Have you ever seen someone in a movie say that they screwed up? No.
no.
No, fact. You're right, because you don't. Every time somebody messes up, the crowd starts chanting, "You fucked up." But
Right.
something happened, and we don't start chanting that in the movie theater.
Exactly.
I don't see people doing it. Listen, I don't see people doing it at like let me bring up my favorite example.
Sporting events.
No, Hamilton. I don't see anybody yelling at Lin-Manuel Miranda, "You fucked up those words." No, that's that. And that's what my problem is with like wrestling. It's just like wrestling fans are like, because like, hey, there are legitimately times where I love hearing the crowd say "you fucked up" because that is great. But there's also all these people out there who are like, yo, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. They were supposed to do like this 360 flip off the top rope, and they totally messed that up. That person wasn't supposed to move. Shut up. You don't yell at Lin-Manuel Miranda that he's really not Hamilton, that Hamilton wasn't Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? Like, you don't say those things. Like, bruh. Like, you don't boo him. Hamilton didn't rap. This is inaccurate. You don't point out the imbalances of this. You don't go to the Lion King and you don't rip on fucking Simba because he didn't grab that right pillar when he was supposed to in the show. Like, it just blows my mind that, there are fans out there who are like, I critique this match. Dave Meltzer, has been doing this for so long, I can let that stuff kind of slide, right? But if you are, like, you're in your 20s or 30s and maybe in your 40s, right? And you have been a fan, right? But you have not made this your job to critique matches, then shut up and let these other people enjoy the fucking show. Sorry, I shouldn't have cursed.
No, that's correct though. No, it's correct.
Yes, I just let you guys
we
know.
Have the most
Thank you, Vic, for popping. People don't know what they're talking about. Have they taken bumps or hear what people have to say? Yes, that's very true. Social media makes fans entitled.
I agree with that.
Say whatever.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yes,
there's a fine line of
absolutely.
respect. Yes, 100%.
Yes,
Well,
it is. So social media has become a platform where there are your fans are too close. They are too close to wrestlers. Like, it makes them feel close to these celebrities. They're posting, like, you can actually interact. Like, think about like this. Like, back in the day, if how crazy would it be in the 80s in the rocking wrestling era to have such a close access to Hulk Hogan, to Randy Savage, Roddy Piper. Like, this, like, I feel like they probably would tweet like Donald Trump tweets, but still, just the idea of, in the 80s, those larger than life personalities and being that close to them, it's something that the business wasn't ready for and still isn't ready for.
Oh no, it would have ruined the business. It would have
exactly.
Totally ruined the business.
Like, we don't get social media in the 90s and 80s. We don't get like those booming periods of wrestling because everyone would have legitimately already knew what they already know about wrestling, and then we don't get the Rock and wrestling. We don't get Andre and all this stuff like that. They don't feel as important.
No, yeah. And I think where else it is that, and you made a great example, and I kind of want to harp on this for like current, right? Like, we saw the whole situation happen with Shotzi, right? Shotzi tweets something, right? Fans turn, they just pretty much just railed her, and then she quits Twitter, right? And then I think recently she just left Instagram as well. Like, that's just fans like forgetting that this is like a person that's behind here, and they're like, hey, I'm close, I can say whatever I want to say to this person, and they're never gonna do anything. Fans get like this entitlement of like, hey, we can do this now, so we're just gonna say what we want to say, and everybody else can just fuck off and deal with it. Like, no, because I forget who said it, and I think it was a MMA fighter. He's like, I've never met a tough guy on Twitter. because anytime I meet them out of Twitter, right, just in real life, there's, hey, what's up, man? No, it's really great to meet you. Like, oh, but this is you, right? You have the same. You're this guy, right? And they're like, nah. It was just something I put out there just because I wanted to get attention, and that's what I think a lot of it is that
it is.
fans they just want to get the attention, right? Because I've gone on and I've had people who I had one dude, and this is funny, right? So anybody who knows that the 3 Count Podcast has a Clapper account, right? And I had a guy come in and goes, I can't believe anybody would talk about this fake fucking wrestling. So what did I do? I made a reply video to that guy's video. But before I did, I jumped in his account because I wanted to see what this guy was talking about. And apparently, like, he had a spinal condition and he was just fucked up, right? So I made a video talking about, I was like, hey, man, I had a whole bunch of disrespectful things I wanted to say, but I really wanted to bring something to your attention. Any of my 11,000 followers that we have on our Clapper account, like, anybody of our 11,000 fans know how to help this man with his spinal condition, please let this man know, because he's actually looking for answers, and I think he's only trying to be an asshole because he wants to see who doesn't respond. My man deleted his account. Got heard, got someone to actually care about him, deleted the entire fucking account. I was like, yo, you was a tough guy. You came in my stuff, you called me out, talk about how I can't believe that I would support fake wrestling. And then you bounced whenever you got called out. You was trying to be heard. And now you had someone who was listening and you ran.
Boom.
But that's how it always is, though. Like, when it really comes down to it, it's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. Period.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Like, for instance, like, all the shit that I talk about, all these other people out there, wrestlers, I would say it to their face.
We know you would, Damien.
Punch me in my mouth, but I would say it to them in their face. I'm not gonna, that's me.
Here's a perfect example, and Chaz will laugh his ass off because he'll know where I'm going with this story. So we had a friend that was on Twitter saying something, right? Chaz's tag partner replies defending the person because somebody went after her, right? So they go after Prince. Well, Prince is my friend. Prince is Chaz's friend. I go after the person who's trying to talk shit to Prince, right? So they reply and they're like, hey, yo, you ain't about that life, bro. He's like, I'm a cop. And, if you do something bad's going to happen to you. So I was like, oh, you a cop? And you talking about this? And you live in Houston? This man goes off and lists a whole bunch of rappers from in Houston, in which Prince then replies, hey, now we're feeding you the energy that you're looking for, right? So then we go, yo, you sound like you're coming from like Def Jam Fight for Houston or something, bro. Because you talk about all these Houston rappers, Little Flip, Slim Thug, Chameleonaire, blah, 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 like all these guys. So we get to the core of the subject. This man talks about being a cop, right? I'm a cop, blah, 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 blah. That's what I do. And I'm not threatening anybody. I make promises. It's like, well, you promise to keep this energy because like you talking a lot of shit. And he was just like, you don't think I'm a cop? Puts up a picture of him in a security outfit. I was like, my brother isn't a cop. He's a security officer. Thank you. Bloop.
He's a flashlight cop.
I was like, bro, I just want to let you know that if I get in trouble, I hope you will call somebody who will come help us. You ain't doing anything for me. Like, but it's no disrespect and it's no disrespect to security officers. It's just the energy that this fan was putting out towards somebody. He got it back and he couldn't handle it. And he dropped it. And that's where, and I think that's what my problem is it's like, we get so sucked into, like, we think that we're invincible behind, like, Twitter, and we think we can critique and say whatever we want. And then when you get critique back, your energy changes. Like, where was you at? And I think that's where I'm at. Like, that's what I've been thinking about this, like, these last 3 weeks, I've had nothing but these thought processes of going in like, man, why are you so negative about it? Like, you go out here and you shit on something because you're like, I demand better. Then get in the ring and bump. Do something about it. You show us how it's done. If you know so much, then do something.
Hey, that's what I be telling fans when they get mad when I cheat. But like, well, you fix it and you come stop me from cheating, but you won't. That's what I always say. Like, my favorite friend down there in West Virginia. Every time I tell him to do something, man, if you're so angry, old sourpuss self.
It's so weird.
He's always in a bad mood, sitting there with his cowboy hat on. Oh, sourpuss self.
Well, at the end of the day, wrestling has not only the most dedicated and hardcore fans, however, we have the most toxic fans too.
Oh,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's toxic
Bro,
as
and I
fuck.
was like,
But that's like,
and I
but
was
that,
thinking,
but
hey,
but there's always like that in every fandom. So I
No,
don't
it
even
is,
say.
But wrestling's
But-
worse.
but go look at what I said last year about this. We talked about this before.
We do.
I was talking
We
about,
talk about
I
every
think
year.
wrestling fans, right? And I would say it, and I'll say it again. I think I said it. Wrestling fans were the second most toxic fans behind, sorry, y'all, if anybody's going to get pissed about this, Star Wars fans. And I have to change my tone. Like, yo, wrestling fans suck. We
They do.
suck. Like, just in
There's
general.
there's
I'm
no
a
way.
fan at the end of the day. And people
Unfortunately,
go on,
we are a part of that, bro. We do suck.
Yeah. But we use words. So
I don't like
and
labels.
This is where I want to get. This is where I want to get into. Right? So this is my favorite thing that always gets misquoted. People calling other people marks. Like, bro, shut up. Shut up.
That's annoying.
If you don't know, I'm like, yo, you are a mark for using the word mark.
Yeah.
That's like people in Star Wars who like refer to other people. Like, listen, if you're a Harry Potter fan and you're a mudblood, that's it. That's the same thing. Yo, you were just, who cares? And it's weird that I would say that because I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but I know the terminology. And that's the problem. It's like, we think we're so cool because we know these secret words. Shut up.
Shut up and watch wrestling.
And I'm proud to be a mark. I'm 100% proud to be a mark. If you call me and you told me you're a mark, I'm like, you betcha. That's why I'm in those ropes.
Right. Exactly. There you go. Yeah. All righty. Wow. So Cliff ran for 45 minutes.
It's my one for the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was last year. This time I did it again.
You did, yeah. So we're gonna. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're. I looked at it and I was like, whoa, wow, where'd the time go?
It went by so fast.
It did. So we're gonna. Yeah. So we don't know how to finish the show. I don't know. I'm like, do I keep going? Do we finish? Yeah. Let's do temp check. Let's do match of the week, and we'll call it. Yeah, because that was something. Yeah, that we talked. Yeah. So yeah, CM Punk was a flop. That was the topic, and we end up debating on toxic fans as far as Star Wars, and yeah.
Oh, that's what fans shouldn't be so goddamn toxic.
That's true. That's true. There it is. There's the button.
A long ass rant was just summed up in one sentence.
Legit. Wow, maybe we could have had it.
I know we don't sponsor these people, but like they probably should hit up BetterHelp.
Yeah.
And talk to somebody about that shit.
Oh man. All right. You know what? No, we're not gonna do that. What's your this or that? We're going right to this or that, then we'll call it. I want to know this or that. Because that's the best thing. That'll probably another 30-minute rant between. So bonus edition.
So this or that is definitely gonna be one that hits pretty hard, and I cannot wait to see how this works out. So,
oh gosh,
as you guys know, we do this or that. It's our new segment where we legit it's either this guy or that guy, right? This week we're going with managers, and it's Paul Heyman or Bobby the Brain.
I knew you were going to do that. Oh my god. Oh man.
Yeah. That's what we're doing today.
You know what? We should have just did match of the week and temp check.
Probably should have.
Oh gosh. All right. I'm gonna go with Paul. Because if I think anymore, I'll have like 50 or more other reasons to change my mind. I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna stick with Paul. And I go with Paul because I look at the evolution of Paul Heyman and everything that has came along. Because yes, as a man, Paul didn't talk for Brock. Brock didn't have to speak. If you notice that, and he's like Brock. I mean, Brock can't. He's not that good on the mic anyway. He doesn't need to be on the mic. But like Paul sold you every match that Brock had as champion. Period. And there's no debating on that. Like after a Paul Heyman promo, sitting in the middle of the ring, Brock Lesnar standing there looking as menacing as he possibly can, because there's not much that he needs to do. He's already menacing as it is. But like that was enough, and that sold you for 3 weeks until he came back. And like I just that alone, and not to mention, Paul has good, he has a good track record of being a manager. Big Show, what? WWE champion. He was also the ECW champion when doing that terrible run of ECW. But like, we're forgetting the Paul Heyman guy thing is a real thing.
Yeah,
and I agree. Like Paul has an eye; he sees it, and he's never been wrong. He's never been wrong. So I'm gonna go with Paul. Now listen, somebody can go Bobby the Brain Heenan, and guess what? You can be right, and you might change my answer, and we can go back and forth. But I'm sticking with Paul. I'm going with Paul Heyman. Yeah, that's hard. Have fun. Because I give myself an aneurysm trying to really. It's hard. Like that's a real hard one to really.
Because they're in two different eras.
Exactly,
right?
exactly, and that's why it's hard.
We got to see legitly how Paul Heyman has grown.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know who Paul Heyman really is as a person. However, Bobby the Brain, there was no internet. Like, you only got to see him when he was in a territory on TV, or like when he was in WWE, or you just really didn't get to see much, but we do know some of the things that he's done. So, this is really hard. I'm gonna have to go with Bobby for the simple fact of, like, this man managed a shit ton of people that had nothing to do with each other and still got them all over.
Yeah.
No matter who he was managing. And was great on commentary. Like him and Gorilla were fucking hilarious. Like he was really, really entertaining. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Bobby. I mean, I love both. And they both have parallels, like, as far as, like, their careers and the things that they've accomplished. But I'm going to old school with this one. I'm going to have to go with Bobby.
So I originally was thinking about going with Bobby, right? Because if I look at the whole entire track record of Paul, right? Obviously, Curtis Axel was one person that he was supposed to like help get over, and while he was starting to get him over, right, it never really fully went over. And then you look at someone like Cesaro, and I know Cesaro eventually got himself over, right, being a part of the Bar, right, but it was the whole idea that Paul wasn't that dude that got him over, right? Eventually it had to be Cesaro that was going to do it through his wrestling. But if I look at everything else, man, like, Bobby had this like stable of dudes, like you said, that just didn't like mesh that weren't supposed to mesh together, and he got all these dudes over. And then if you look at Paul and you look at Paul's track record, it's hard not to say and you know what, as great as we're gonna make this full circle, as great as CM Punk is on the mic, Paul is there, and Paul was CM Punk's mouthpiece for a long time, and it worked well together. And then it was Brock. And now it's Roman, and he didn't have to cut promos for Roman, right? But when he does, he elevates that talent to another level, right?
Listen,
and I know
Paul's attention to detail.
Oh no, it's it's amazing.
I think a lot of people don't talk about Paul's attention to detail. Like, oh my gosh, when Roman was, this is like last year, Roman's going in on Paul, and Paul is just like he starts. He has his little hanker. He starts wiping his brow. That's my tribal chief. Oh, my tribal chief! And he's literally on his knees. And it's like small stuff, and he just and he looks and he's like whimpering. Like Paul's whimper. Like it's the details and stuff like that. Like I can't. That's why I have to say Paul. Then again, like, I also look at Bobby
too, though.
Right,
Bobby
and I also got to go bring on the fact that Bobby is before my time.
True.
And, I'm a ruthless aggression era kid.
But when you look at and I
grew up on John Cena. Hustle, you can't see me. Spinner belt. FU, STFU.
Yeah, I saw the first WrestleMania.
See, my first WrestleMania was 23.
I think so.
John Cena and Sean.
So here's my thing for it, right? And this is where I'll wrap this up really quick. But when I look at Paul, right? Paul, like I said, he just knows how to elevate like all the talent around him to like another level, right? And if you look at especially the part where Brock and Roman were going back and forth, and then Paul left Roman to build up Brock. And then like eventually he was calling out everything that Roman had done and did. And he was talking about the family history. And it's those little attention to details of the bigger picture that make everything even better. Like that comes out from Paul. It's not like Paul. Because I know WWE before the changes, right, was living in this idea that fans were forgetting about what happened 2-3 weeks ago. And here's one person cutting a promo and legitimately just running down the entire history of the Anoa'i family and talking about everything, every detail. And you're like, damn, dude, the man is bringing in like the bigger picture of everything. And I was like, that's where it's at. And that's what I liked about it. And I know Bobby did that too, but this was on another, you're talking about on a bigger platform. This is where Paul's doing it and excelling at it.
No, facts. It's wrestling has evolved and gotten bigger. So yeah, Paul is doing it on a worldwide scale, and he makes it entertaining.
Oh yeah,
like you look forward to him talking.
Yeah, definitely.
So then you guys let us know what you guys think. Is it Paul?
Yes.
Is it Bobby? If you go to Spotify and check it out right now, you can probably put that poll up and you guys can vote on it.
Yeah,
we do that now.
No, we can do that now. Listen, technology. I feel like an old man. Like
I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
That's facts. He was there for WrestleMania 1.
Exactly. I was 5.
Yeah. No. Let's see. How old? I think I was 7. I think I was 7. 23. I think. I don't know. I just know that was the first one. That was I knew of WrestleMania. I didn't watch. My very first WrestleMania I ever watched fully was 24, and that's because I bought the DVD coming back from a road trip on Walmart.
We talking about all the old stuff, man. CDs, vinyl, DVD.
I know we've been talking. Like, listen, this is a throwback day. Like you're out here ranting. We're talking about vinyls, CDs, cassettes, 8-tracks, WrestleMania 1, Bobby the Brain. Yeah, it's a throwback day. All righty. So this is the show. We're not gonna do Match of the Week. We've already talk longer than what I like to say we can talk for. So with that being said, listen, for all of my Xbox users, you get you get the achievement. All right, all my PlayStation users get a trophy because I know getting through a 3-account podcast debate show can be a daunting task, but because you've made it to the end, you get an achievement or you get a trophy. And then, hey, Damien's back. So listen, that trophy is no longer a bronze. It is now a gold trophy. So if that being said, if you have not already done so, make sure, all right, you see up there at the top, it's at the top now, all right? You follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. All right, subscribe on YouTube for all of our audio podcast listeners. Okay, make sure you subscribe to whatever podcast platform you're listening to because we're on everything. Okay, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, give us a 5-star Frog Splash review on that podcast. Listen, if you know somebody that likes wrestling and they like podcasts, send us to them. Send them our way. Let us caress them in this podcast world of wrestling and make them feel at home. in a family, because that's what we are, a family.
Wow, they got
Outright went on that whole rant.
really weird.
Anyway, listen, look, hey, that's the Dark Lord. All right, you know what? He ain't got no social media, so guess what? Don't follow him nowhere. Okay?
If you do, I will hunt you down.
Like,
leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Don't follow Damien. Like, that statement alone is already bad enough. All right.
Exactly.
Check out Spread Podcast. Not exactly. Listen,
I agree with that.
You know what? Mike's going to be a correspondent of the 3 Count Podcast from now on. We're going to put him on location for everything and have him like.
Oh, Chaz froze. He actually froze. He went to the sign for
film stuff, like legit.
Yeah, you were totally just frozen. You were totally frozen.
Thanks. You know, it's time to end this show. So, like I said, there's the Red Dawg. Okay, all right. Follow him, Red Dawg _85. I think that's where he is everywhere. If not, listen, you'll find him on the podcast socials. Okay, you can follow me at Chaz _the Don. That's everything. Okay. Get out of here. Go change this episode. Go pick another episode right now. Okay. Right now. Have you done it yet? Are you still there?
I haven't done it. They're still waiting.
Okay, no. Do it now.
This is done.
Are they still there? You're still listening. Why are you still here?
Go find a Willow episode.
Legitimately, go, keep going. Stop listening to this episode. Why is this episode still playing? Why haven't you hit?
Hey guys, it's the host of the 3 Count, Chaz Evans here. Make sure to let you know that I don't run shit, I don't do shit, I just talk shit. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast. What else did you do? You should also follow us on all social medias. That's the Facebook at 3 Count Podcast, the Instagram at 3 Count Pod, and the Twitter at 3 Count _pod. Also, if you like us a lot, you should definitely buy a t-shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/3countpod, and that's the number 3. Don't be an idiot and type in THREE, because you're not going to find anything. So make sure you follow us at 3 Count Pod or 3 Count _pod on Twitter and buy a shirt. Be there or be somewhere else.